All right. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to begin by welcoming those members of the public and press who have joined us today at the Novotel in Cambridge North, and all those who are watching the meeting on our live stream. The combined authority allows filming and photography at this public meeting, so please feel free to take pictures and use social media during the meeting. Can I ask, though, that everyone present turn their mobile phones to silent or vibrate whilst the meeting is taking place? There are no fire drills scheduled for today, so if the alarm sounds, I will adjourn the meeting and we will all move outside for the direction of staff. I would remind members of that the meeting will be recorded. Would the governance manager let us know of any apologies?
Thank you, Mayor. We have apologies from Councillor Anna Smith, substituted by Councillor Simon Smith, and from Councillor Tim Taylor, substituted by Councillor Steve Tierney.
Thank you. To stick to the substitutes. Does any member wish to declare disposable pecuniary interest or non-statutory disposable interest in any items being considered today? Okay, as always, declarations of interest can be made at any point during the meeting. Then we move on to the meetings, the minutes of the previous meetings, 13th and 14th of March. The HR committee on the 15th of November was unfortunately incorporate, so we will still have the minutes from the meeting previous to that in March 2024 to be approved. Is the committee happy to approve the minutes from 13th and 14th of March as an accurate penalty? Okay, I see no objections, so we will take the minutes as approved. Okay. That's okay. Yeah, that's okay. That's the next item is the pay policy report. Nikki McLaughlin, hopefully that's right what we say, will introduce the report.
Thank you. So yes, I'm bringing the pay policy reports today. So under legislation, we are required to publish a pay policy each year. So I do bring it each year updated. So there's no fundamental changes to the policy each year. It's just that we update certain salary bandings, particularly after the pay award. As you'll be aware, the pay award comes in sometimes slightly later than when we can be ready for the pay award. So it's always a little bit behind. So in terms of, hopefully you'll have seen the policy and the updated, the report and the updated policy. So in section 3.4 of the report, tried to highlight where the differences are. So section 6, we've just updated the current pay scales. That was following last year's pay award, because obviously that hadn't come into place when we bought the policy last year. Section 7 has just been updated to reflect the current UK living wage. And then we've used that information to then reflect the new pay ratios for the authority. One thing that I have slightly changed on the policy is just section 10. I've just clarified the process we do pay special responsibility payments and acting up payments when somebody is either taking on additional responsibilities or if they're acting up into a different role. The previous policy just wasn't quite clear around the process of how you did that and kind of what percentage you could pay, and it's very much based on, we look at what you're doing and then we look at kind of what the proportion would be, and so that it's relative to the work that you're doing. Previously it had just been a one-off figure, so it wasn't quite reflective of the work that people were doing. So that's just a clarity around the process. So I don't know if there is any questions on it. The majority of the updates are simply just updating the pay scales and then the pay ratios between the highest and the lowest paid in the organisation.
Are there any questions or comments on the report?
It is obviously like a standard of the policy, but we just do need to make people aware of the changes.
Okay. Okay, well, as that has gone through without any questions or comments, yeah. However, we have been asked to approve the update to the pay policy as set out in paragraph 3.4 of the report. We will move to the vote. Do we need to have a second? I'll move it. I'll take it from Simon, seconder. Those in favour? Yeah. Okay, that's unanimous. Done. Okay, so we're going to move on to family leave policy, which is the paternity section.
Yes, so
you'll introduce the report.
Thank you. So we wanted to bring just some suggested changes to the family leave policy, specifically just the paternity section. And what we are asking for your approval on is to at the moment we are currently paying statutory pay to people when they go on their 2 weeks paternity leave, and we would like to increase that to 2 weeks full pay, so they would receive full pay during that period. We have looked at, I know we did discuss this informally last time in terms of whether or not we have looked at whether or not it fits in with other local authorities and obviously other district councils, but in the main it does represent what is generally given to people across other authorities. So we would just like to bring that in line with, it does affect a very small amount of people. I think we've had 2 people within the last year on paternity, but I think it is something that is important to staff, and it was specific feedback that we had received from members of staff in our employee survey around whether we would be able to consider this. So that's essentially the changes that we would like to make. We have also suggested removing the normally you need 12-month service to access any paternity pay. We would like to offer it from as a day one right, again because it affects very few people and it's very important to people in that period of time.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, any questions or comments on this report?
I have a question which
Yes.
probably could be answered finding policy, but
No,
can't. Which is just to hope that this also applies to people who are impaired due to adoption.
yes, so there is a section on adoption as well.
So,
I don't know if it's a declaration of interest, but I had 2 weeks of paternity leave care of the NHS as a public service employee. Seems I don't know how it works out, but local government.
In the main, it is. I mean, there are some that still do offer statutory. Usually, after you've done some service, it then does increase to the 2 weeks' pay. But in the main, we have found when we've looked across the local councils, local authorities, and other combined authorities, it is in the main generally that the people will offer the 2 weeks full pay.
Okay, well, I think it does demonstrate an element of we asked, they said, we did.
Yeah.
So hopefully that will be seen as appreciative as an employer, which is listening to its workforce, and I think the general gist that everybody's happy, and I think the narrative behind this is definitely a strong one. Okay, go with the vote. Again, I will happy to support this. Second, I can't take from you this time, Lucy. Okay, there's the seconder. Those in favour? Okay, fine. And then we move on to 6, which is the exclusion of the public and the press. We move that we resolve that the press and public be excluded from the meeting on the grounds that discussions are at risk of disclosing exempt information under Part 1, 2 and 5 Schedule 12A the Local Government Act 1972, and it would not be in the public interest for this information to be disclosed, or the public interest in maintaining the exemptions be given to outweigh the public interest in the publication. I'm proposing it. Yeah, second. Yeah. Okay, so thank you. Moving to the vote. Those in favour? Okay, so that's unanimously. So at this point, the meeting will adjourn. Thank you for anybody who's